Welcome to Destination Outdoors. I'm Lauren Magiera. This week we head north of the Illinois border, climbing the rock messes at Devil's Lake, hanging by the tips of my fingers. We wet a line on the beautiful Kankakee River, meet some youngsters who take their best shot at the outdoors with their bows. And then we end today's adventure hitting the big waters of Lake Michigan to try to put some salmon on the dinner table. Join me. We have a lot to explore today on Destination Outdoors. I usually like the ground right underneath my feet, unless I'm on a boat, of course, but I want to enjoy the beautiful views of Devil's Lake. So that means I need to get some altitude and learn how to rock climb. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you, Lauren?
Lauren.
Good to meet you. I'm Nick with Devil's Lake Climbing Guide.
Thank you so much for meeting me. I'm really excited to sort of get into rock climbing a little bit more. I've really honestly only done it one other time. Tell me a little bit about what we have here and what we are going to be doing today.
Sure. Well, we're going to start here at the CCC parking lot at Devil's Lake. We're going to be hiking up the CCC hiking trail to a place called the East Rampart, which is where the big cliffs are, and that's where we're going to climb. Before we get there, we're gonna get you outfitted with some climbing gear, so a harness, a helmet, some rock climbing shoes. We're gonna throw some things in our backpacks, some ropes and anchor materials, and then once we're all set, we can hit the trail.
All right, we'll see what kind of a monkey you can turn me into today.
I'm confident that you'll be quite a monkey.
Let's hope. All right, so about how long of a hike can we expect before we get to the cliffs?
We're gonna follow this trail up about 500 feet. It's gonna take maybe 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how we're feeling. We're gonna be going up these rocky, blocky steps.
So the rock climbing begins right here, right? I'm doing
This is the warm-up. Nice and slow.
Oh, wow. This is your office, Nick?
It's a pretty nice office, huh?
How did this trajectory get to be like this?
Well, this rock here is called Baraboo quartzite, and it's 1.3 billion years old. It's some of the oldest exposed rock on Earth. And then it used to be under an ocean, and now, many years later, during the Ice Age, this was all created.
Nick's passion for rock climbing began years before he opened Devil's Lake Climbing Guides and says climbing is instinctual.
Well, I think everybody loves climbing when they're little. Like, we have to climb to get up to the kitchen counter, to almost anything. I see that with my kids all the time. When I started college was the first time I came up to Devil's Lake. My college had an outdoor climbing group. All the college students sort of taught each other. So that's when I got my start in climbing. I was 17 at the time. I just kept climbing wherever I lived, whether it was out east in New Hampshire or out west in Jackson Hole or down in Zion. I just kept climbing, and eventually I started to do it professionally. Here, I felt like I was ready to start my own business. I had a lot of the business skills that I'd learned other places, and it was just fun to start out on my own, just little old me guiding by myself. And then we're gonna retrace this knot. This is called a figure 8 knot.
Okay.
The first year, I think I ran maybe 15 trips, and now we have about 20 instructors. We help lots of people go climbing every year. Okay, Lauren, we've learned our safety commands. Okay, we've learned our head-to-toe safety check, and now we're ready to go. You ready?
I know we just met a couple hours ago, but I trust you. And let's try this. I'm
Okay.
excited. I'm nervous, but I'm excited.
I've got you. You're on belay.
Okay.
You can climb when you're ready.
All right, thank you.
There you go. The rock is a little wet today from the
Yeah,
rain this
super
morning.
slippery. Did I fall right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was great. You were just going a little too fast.
Okay.
The rock's a little wet. We just need to have like fairly static movement. You're taking huge steps
Yeah.
because you're flexible, but you're gonna climb better if you take a little bit smaller steps. The Midwest does not have a lot of verticality to its terrain, and so Devil's Lake is an exception to that rule. I love being up high. I love exposed rock. I love this combination of water and rock and beautiful sky. We've got all these turkey vultures flying all around. It's really not like most places in the Midwest. How's your breathing?
I forgot to breathe. Thanks for the reminder.
What we really do here is we help people bridge that scary gap between this looking like a crazy activity that only extreme weirdos do to something that anybody who can hike and who's an athlete and who is excited about getting vertical and into some interesting, hard to reach places can get into.
Thanks, Nick!
You bet. I think most people can climb. I have a friend who used to say, if you can hike, you can climb. So if you can go from the car and get up here, which not everybody can, but if you can do that, then you can climb. I think a great reason to climb is that it takes you really outside of most of your experience. Most of the sports we play don't really have much crossover with rock climbing. In rock climbing, you move slowly in general, and you really have to study your center of balance, the footholds and the handholds that you use. There's a little ledge above your right foot. Do you see it? Yeah, good. You're using your brain as much as you're using your body, and there's certainly a lot of emotion involved. Come on, Lauren.
I mean, you put your hand in there?
Take a break. Take a break. Most sports are really fast. We don't really have time to feel that much. Looking good, Lauren. Or time to think that much. In climbing, we get all those pieces of the puzzle. I think climbing helps people know themselves better. I think it helps them know their partners better. And it certainly helps them know the outdoor world better, which I think is really important because today, compared to maybe 100 years ago, like we have a much less close relationship with the outdoors.
Woo! I'll tell you what, it wasn't easy work, but it beats a day working at the office anytime. This is absolutely gorgeous up here. What an adrenaline rush. What a workout. Woo! Now that my feet are firmly back on the ground, let's wet a line. I want to catch some fish, but not with your regular spinning rod and reel. See what I mean when we come back on Destination Outdoors.